can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like $100,000.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Wise here. I'm founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders like the founders of RX Bars. They sold to Kellogg for $600 million. Check out the interview. He talks about how they built it up. P90X founder Tony Horton talks about how he made money as a street mime, Josh, before he sold hundreds of millions. That's how he actually made rent money and food money when he traveled across country as a street mime. And founder of Atari, Nolan Bushnell, talked about when he was Steve Jobs' mentor that Steve offered Nolan 33% of Apple for $50,000 and why he said no. And many more people on Inspired Insider. And this episode is brought to you by Rise 25, which I co-founded with my business partner, John Corcoran. Our mission at Rise 25 is to connect you with your best referral partners and customers. We do that. We've done that, Josh, for years just because we like doing it, but we did it through our Done For You services, which is a Done For You podcast service, which I believe is the best thing I've ever done for my business and my life. And I know you go on a lot of podcasts. You really love them. And also a done-for-you VIP event solution where we'll partner with large conferences and software companies, and we'll completely run a VIP event for them so they can just show up and hang out and deliver the content. We do have a greater purpose and mission behind what we do, which is our Veteran Entrepreneur Scholarship. So if you go to rise25.com/mission and you apply, if you know a veteran entrepreneur or you are one, apply. We give scholarships to our events. It could be sometimes an all-expense paid trip to the event, ticket, flight, hotel, and whatever it is to connect with other entrepreneurs to get your business to the next level. It's a longer story, but it has to do with my grandfather being a Holocaust survivor who escaped Nazi Germany, and my business partners at the same time's grandfather was a B-17 captain who flew 35 missions over Nazi Germany at the same time. So anyways, check out rise25.com/mission. I am super excited to thank you to Ed O'Keefe for making me aware of this amazing entrepreneur, Josh Elizetxe, who, fascinating enough, is legally changing his name to Josh Snow, and you'll see why in a minute. The bright white teeth maybe give you an indication. But, you know, Josh, what people don't talk about as much is, your family didn't have a computer when you were growing up, so you had 1 hour of computer time a day at the library. So if anyone has excuses of what they're not accomplishing, I think of things like you and some of these other entrepreneurs of, the opportunity that you just created. And you taught yourself to program and to market online as a teenager. By age 22, he had a multi-million-dollar company that he sold. Now he runs a private portfolio of multi-million-dollar businesses. Every month, tens of millions of people visit their company's web properties. They have, you go to trysnow.com. They get a lot of press for the celebrities and partners like that they have: Chuck Liddell, Rob Gronkowski, Floyd Mayweather, the Kardashians, Miss Universe. It goes on and on. But what I feel doesn't get talked about as much, Josh, is just the giving nature. You donate for every sale to help children who can't afford dental treatments. You spend time giving back by advising on the board of the Phoenix Coding Academy and the Fleischer Scholars Program, which is a college enrichment for disadvantaged students. But for you guys out there, try Snow.com. Snow is a leader in premium oral health care products, including patented teeth whitening systems, premium floss, anti-aging lip care products, and much more. Over 1 million monthly shoppers that make Snow the leader in premium oral care. Josh, thank you for joining me.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
There's so much to talk to just in the intro. Talk about going all in for a second and changing your name and just beyond going all in.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not a dentist. I wanted to be a doctor growing up. I wanted to go to medical school. That was my dream. And I stumbled into entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is not huge in my family. I think that the entrepreneurial spirit, I think, is huge in my family. The resiliency and all of that, the grit. But I kind of came to a crossroad a few years ago when I had sold one of my companies, and I went out and bought the Lamborghini, yellow Lamborghini convertible, and I did all this stuff. I went and bought a Ferrari, and because I 10 years ago, literally 10 years ago, was the last time I took the city bus. I used to take the city bus, and I bought my own first car. It was a 1992 Toyota Camry, bought for $4,000 after I sold a website on what it was called SitePoint Marketplace, which is now called Flippa. Yeah. And so, I knew that my family could probably not be able to help me out with a car, and I was taking the city bus, and I was taking it at 5 a.m. because it kept breaking down all the time, and I couldn't rely on it, and I had football practice. But long story short, I was 20. I'm 26 now, so I was 21, 22 years old. I finished university when I was 20 at Arizona State University at the business school, and I went all in after I graduated. I literally was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and a lot of people say that, and I'm not saying that like I'm proud of it. I'm saying that was the nature of it.
That's what it took.
That's what it took, and that's what it was, and that's all I knew, because I was so used to taking 22 credits a semester. I was in the honors college doing my honors thesis, and then I was running my business and my involved sports. Like, I'm just used to doing 5 million things at once because I'm so happy to be alive. But I then switched over just to business, and so I burnt out. I didn't know it. It was delayed burnout after the acquisition. I didn't know it. And I felt some inklings of depression, which I never had felt like that. I didn't know what that was.
What did you experience at the time? Because not experiencing before, you seem like an upbeat, just go, go, go type of person. So
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I am.
What was that like for you at the time?
It's kind of like you're used to going, 150 miles per hour, and then all of a sudden you're going 20 miles per hour, and you're like, whoa. And it's like your mind and your body have to catch up to that. And like, I don't know, you could do it the other way too. Like, you can go from 20 miles to 150 miles per hour, then you burn out. And then when you drop to 20, there's that delta between the speed can elicit some depressive kind of feelings. And I think for me, it was not lethargic, not wanting to get out of bed. I was kind of this quote unquote star boy, where it was like, whatever I come out with next has to be bigger than what I just did.
A lot of pressure. Yeah.
A lot of pressure, and a lot of internal pressure, by the way. It's not like anybody was telling me this. It was all inside my own head.
Right.
And I realized that I have to have a purpose, a big one. I have to have a mission that's huge. I have to be working my whole life. And one of my mentors, Mort Fleischer, who I'm now partnered with on our foundation, I just got back from St. Louis talking to the kids at Washington University. These are underserved high school juniors who are interested in business, want to go to college, and don't maybe have a role model in their community. Mort Fleischer, 82 years old, he's partners with Warren Buffett. He's raised, $15 billion in the public markets for real estate. He told me, the reason he thinks he's still alive is because he's still going. He's the chairman of that company. And so for me, I was like, what could I do for 60 years that I would be proud to do, and that even if I failed miserably, I would still be happy about? And like those check boxes I started to create. And then I stumbled into snow because I had jaw surgery. They wired out took out my jaw, wired it shut. I spent a lot of time with dentists and doctors, and they'd see me pull up in my Lamborghini, and even though I wasn't deep down inside happy at the moment, they were like, clearly this guy's got the trappings of success. Right. It's not daddy's money, it's not family money. They know that. So they're like, what do? You must be an entrepreneur. So we became friends, and one day I started researching the oral care market, and two of my best friends created a company called Tuft & Needle. And that was a huge success story, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, bootstrapped, in less than 5 years. They recently merged with Serta Simmons. So anyway, that I saw that. I said, as they were doing that, I had a backstage view through all of that. And I said, what is the industry or market I want to disrupt? And I'm willing to spend 50 years to do it and go all in. So, last year we spent a few $1 million to create our new, system, our teeth whitening system. And now as we expand to different categories, I put, not all of my money, but I would say relative to the amount, because I could have just sat on the beach and not work for the rest of my life. Like, I literally could do that. I still could, but I could have done that. But I realized very quickly, literally within 6 months after having all that money and all that, I was like, not happy. And it sounds cliche because like money buys happiness. Well, bubble, like you hear both sides of the story. Mm-hmm. But for me, I needed to put a stake in the ground and say, this is what I'm going to do for 50 years, and I am going to go all in. And part of that finally to answer a piece of your question is changing my last name. So, my last name, I'm Basque. My dad is an immigrant from Spain, left an amazing career there to take on an opportunity here in the U.S. And my last name is Basque. And, I'm really my father's only son. And so there's a lot that goes into that where.
It's a really big decision, yeah.
But I said, you know what? I said, my kids down the line they don't have to go by Snow. I can keep that name. I can change it again if I need to. But I said, I really want to, aside from tattooing it on my body, I want to really, really make it part of that brand. Because the truth is, you can't follow the founder of Crest, the founder of Colgate, the founder of Sensodyne, but you can follow the founder of Snow. And I want to stand in front of that brand in this amazing opportunity now that upstarts can take on big companies. And really, Crest and Colgate are not really our competition. I love them. I'm a huge
you have
fan.
a different position in the market. You're more of a premium, and I'm going to tease this for a second and don't show it yet, but I know we talked before hitting record and you'll show us what a $10,000 system looks like. Don't show it yet, just keep watching, but
it's hidden. It's
okay,
here.
good. And the other piece is you were awarded a trademark. So talk about that, because you didn't have to do that, and you spent a lot of money and time doing that as well.
Yeah. So what happened is that, as I was talking to my team, we kind of said, what's the big mission? We are in the business of delivering confidence and helping inspire confidence. And we help the community out with the 18 million American children who don't have access to dental care. Okay, great. We never lead with the marketing on that. That was one thing as a marketer. I said, we will never lead with that. We will not be the Toms where we simply lead with that. We will lead with our products being patented, the best of the best, looking good and working. And then we will lead with some celebrity help and certain brands we partner with. That's it. And in the background, we've chosen to help our cause. But then I said, okay, what's the big brand goal? And we kind of
just to say one thing, Josh, I had to dig on the about page all the way at the bottom. First, like you were saying, front and center. Yeah, you're in the video, so there's a face with the product. But I had to dig all the way at the bottom to find out that you guys actually donate sales for each of the you donate to for each of the sales for dental health. So yeah, it's not front and center, which some people argue why not? But I totally get your point.
And I have no problem. And I am not denigrating anyone who chooses to do that. Not at all. Tom's shoes, whatever. Tom's shoes are great, and I love all of that. 1-for-1 model is amazing. We've got a similar 1-for-1 model, but we decided to do it internally as a company. And because we know we are powerful marketers, it's too easy. And I hate to say that, but it's too easy to just leave it that and then make people feel bad. I don't believe in that. I want the hardest. My whole life has been about chasing difficulty, and all of my success has come from chasing difficulty. And so I try to train that to my team as well. And so, we said we want to be known right next to Snow, the actual element that falls from the sky, and Snow, the oral care, personal care brand. And we want people to be wearing, if I'm wearing a Snow hat, which has happened, to me and my team members, we're at a restaurant and the server will come up and say, "Oh my God, is that because you ski, or is that because of the teeth whitening brand or whatever?" So
it's pretty
we
amazing.
want to synonymous from that from a brand perspective. And so, for us, we're all in, and I've gone all in. And so now we say, okay, whatever happens, we're going to keep pushing. This is it's a marathon. Building a brand, especially in a deep seated space like oral care and personal care, takes a long time. But we said, okay, could we do this for 50 years? Would we be happy? Are we happy year by year what we're doing? And we're racing the marathon, and it's very exciting. And we're a tiny little peanut compared to the Crest and Colgates and all these guys, but we want to earn the right to be on a shelf next to those strong brands.
Totally. I want, a big piece of it, I think, when you talk is you really value mentors. And so I wanted you to talk a little bit about, one of your mentors. You said Mort, and then I also want you to talk about your dad. How did you meet? Is it Mort?
Yeah, Mort.
Yeah. How did you meet him?
So I was actually a part of the very, very first year of the program. So Mort, invented this program in a partnership with Arizona State University, and my dad, who was working at the post office, was reading the newspaper like he does every day, and saw Sliver in there for the program, and it was like, high school juniors who are interested in business, who want to go to college, come from underserved backgrounds, blah blah blah. He clipped it out and left it on the counter for me because my dad worked a night shift to make a few extra bucks an hour, and so we would communicate through the counter. So the kitchen counter, he would leave articles for me. My dad's big into quantum physics and just one of the smartest guys I know still to date, and he would leave me kind of things around biology and biotech, stuff like that. So he left me this sliver, and I read it, and I was like, I have 2 days to apply with a deadline. And I was like, I am interested in business. And this was interesting because my dad's and both my parents are the most supportive parents I could ask for. But entrepreneurship in a family like ours is the most risky thing you can go for. And my dad was like, that's very scary. Please just stay in school. And I made an agreement with my dad that I would keep good grades, and he would let me essentially do what I wanted to do on the computer. He didn't know what I was doing, but he's like, keep doing what you're doing. I don't know what it is. You better keep your grades up. Right. So I got straight A's after that because I didn't want my dad on my back, and I didn't want my mom concerned. So he left this sliver, and it was the first time where my dad kind of was nudging toward what I had inside of me, which I honestly felt embarrassed about. I felt embarrassed to tell my family that I didn't want to go to medical school. I was embarrassed to say I want to be an entrepreneur. I was scared. And so I said, wow, my dad's actually kind of nudging me. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to do this. So I applied, and I met Mort, that first day of the program, and he talked about coming from nothing, and his parents passing away, and living with his uncle in St. Louis, and kind of going through a similar rise through, he's 82 years old. So when he went to work on Wall Street, he could only work at firms that hired Jewish bankers, and like going through that process. And kind of being a Hispanic minority, wannabe entrepreneur at the time, there were some thoughts in my head about like, I'm just some poor Hispanic kid, like I'm not gonna be able to make it. And seeing what he was able to do. You had like
negative self-talk at the time.
Negative self-talk, and I meet this guy who started with $0, and built an empire by just pushing forward, and that sparked that entrepreneurship with my dad's support, and like heck yeah. So then I came back. It's
like that Roger Bannister, right? You just can see it being done, and just seeing it gives you, oh wow, I could do it too, type of thing.
Well, and he at his age, and I met him, he was 72, 73 at the time, and he was kind of entering that phase of I don't give a shit what people think about me. I'm going to say what I want. I'm in the legacy stage of my life. Right. So we just clicked right away. I became a mentor in the program, and then as my businesses started to explode, we started meeting more and more often. And then he started sharing stuff. But really, my early mentors, aside from my dad, were on YouTube and Google, and just like searching, Jean-Paul DeJoria from Paul Mitchell Cosmetics, hair care, Bill Gates, and you name it, Michael Dow, and the list goes on and on. I would just watch their interviews, everything I could find on someone I kind of connected to, John D. Rockefeller, Cornelius Vanderbilt. I read everything I could on these guys, and saw that they came from very similar backgrounds as me. And it kind of shattered that limiting belief of that I can't do that. Like, I can't be that big. Like, I don't know. And it's like, I can do this. And so every single piece of content that would come out from, those people, obviously Cornelius Vanderbilt, John D. Rockefeller, I read everything I could, but Steve Jobs and, all this going on. I remember watching the very first Apple iPhone announcement, and how Steve Jobs talked with magnetism about the product, this magnetic charisma he had on stage, and this passion and love for the product. And I said, one day I would love to talk about the products we create like that. And I literally fell in love with the way Steve Jobs talked about his business, the way Jean-Paul DeJoria. And so those are my early mentors. We're online through books, through forums, and that really kept me going, kept me pushing. And then eventually the people around me started to see that it wasn't just a random, inkling of feeling I want to be an entrepreneur. Like, this guy's actually an entrepreneur. And now I'm fortunate to have the community and be on podcasts and do all this because I want to be hopefully a light for someone who is maybe doubting themselves or maybe wants to take it to the next level. And so, my thing is, now that, Snow is valued as a 9-figure brand, it's like, how do we get to 10-figure brand? Not because I need or want the money. I take $0 out of Snow. Like, I don't fund my lifestyle from Snow. I've got different businesses, and I've been in business for 12 years. Snow is really my all-in thing. It's not like I'm going to get a Lambo, from doing this. It's, and that's, by the way, has been I think, a piece of what has attracted A players, because they know that Josh is not just doing this to get rich. Josh is already set up. He's good. He's doing this to prove a point, and people want to be a part of a story like that.
Josh, what's something, when you think of Mort, you talked about a few lessons you learned from him, but what about directly him giving you advice on something? Maybe you're going in one direction and his advice kind of took it in another direction, or just something he said that just helped the trajectory of what you're doing.
Yeah, it was him, and then one of my other mentors who unfortunately passed away, Bruce, is the founder of Discount Tire, multi-billion-dollar, tire company, tire retailer. And I remember asking Bruce, I'm like, why don't you guys sell other car parts? Why don't you guys do oil changes? He said, it's not our business. And I go, Bruce, how come you don't manufacture your own products? You're the number one seller of tires in the world, direct to consumer. And he says, that's not our business. Never play another man's game. And, and Mort has continually ushered me along and challenged me intellectually to level up the way I think about my future, my business. And, him being the founder of 3 separate New York Stock Exchange companies, talking about the struggles of being a public company and how there are 2 businesses when you're a public company. You're in the business of being public and the business of running and growing a business.
Right.
And thinking about that, and Bruce never went public. And so, he built a $6 billion net worth, selling one product for 50 years.
Amazing.
And the way that his team admired him, when he passed away, the funeral and the ceremony was overfilled with people, with press. Press wasn't allowed in, but filled with employees who literally, every single person, there was not one bad thing someone could say about him as a leader. And so I saw that and I said, I want to be admired for my leadership. So I have to emulate what these people have, the empathy, giving credit to others, integrity, always following through with what you say and do. And that's something Mort, lives by as well. His personal brand, he's had multiple companies, maybe 20, 30 different companies, 3 on the New York Stock Exchange. What's the one company he's most he puts him highest importance himself, his own personal brand. And then leveling up your legal, leveling up your accounting, leveling up your team, going after better and better people, and really putting your hands deep into the business and not pretending like you're too good to do something. That all those things that I kind of watched, but also, Mort, for example, will say, Josh, if you're gonna, if you're thinking about raising money, you need to, you've got a great accounting, whatever, but go and talk to Ernst & Young, go and talk to Deloitte. And for me, I'm like, really? Like, talk to Ernst & Young? Like, aren't they really expensive? He goes, go to this law firm. He connected me to a law firm. They have 5,000 attorneys, in their company. And he says, and I was like, aren't they expensive? He goes, well, Josh, if they don't know the answer, they pick up the phone and literally call the guy across the away from him, or the other one, or the other one, or the other one. Within a few minutes, they've got the answer. So it's about the time and the expertise, and you can't be messing around. The last thing that he really harps on is not letting your ego get ahead of you. And he's like, ego will destroy a man and his success. And so, he's constantly challenging me. He lets me.
What do you think he means by that?
Well, I've seen it happen. And I catch myself every once in a while. That's why I think having the nonprofit program and traveling around the U.S. and talking to universities and seeing the children remembering I was in their exact chair and where I come from and giving back while I'm growing businesses really allows me to stay grounded. The other thing is, at my core, even though I drive around a McLaren, I'm actually at my core, I'm a simple guy. Like, I just love to work. I love to inspire, and just realizing that I'm a peanut compared to some of my competitors and how much more I have to grow, and never saying like, oh, we're doing so well. I'm like kind of getting complacent, and realizing when I get complacent, I do become unhappy. So like continually realizing, here's where I'm at. Here's where I think we could be. And we've got a limited time to get there, and I've got to buckle down. And the other thing too is, people don't want to work or be led by someone who is egotistical like that. Not very long, or who has a dictator way of leadership. I'm not that way naturally, but it is easy when you are young, you're making a lot of money, to feel like, you move aside and you don't know who I am, and just like that type of feeling. I catch myself sometimes if I start to slip into anywhere near that.
Yeah.
And I think what it means is that,
keeping that humbleness.
Keeping the humbleness, being relatable, being yourself. I mean, honestly, the best thing that money has given me is that I can be myself. And if somebody doesn't like it, that's unfortunate, but it doesn't, I don't have to, bend over for somebody because I need them. I'm self-sufficient. We have a brand that's self-sufficient. We have no outside funding. Like for me, it's like, who are we really serving? The customer, the market, our partners, and how can I wake up and go to sleep every night saying, how can I be a better leader to my team? How can I be a better inspiration for the community and a role model? And how can I be a better partner, aka help my partners make more money? And help them and see more opportunities and keep this company growing. If you look at that and you kind of put that at Mount Everest and you realize you're right here chugging along with everybody else, I'm no one special. I'm not entitled to anything. I've got to work and earn for every single thing that we have. And once you just really instill that, and then combine that with abundance instead of scarcity, you're like, I'm not going to share my ideas, or I'm not going to do this, and giving credit, practicing giving credit over the years, for me, has been so valuable in 1,000 ways, and it keeps you humble. Yeah.
So, Josh, I want to talk about, because you have a great approach to partnerships, and I know you talk about this. You want win-win-win. You want everyone in the deal to win. But first, I want to get into a little bit about the expansion, and you have some really interesting views on thinking on another level, and you could tell that when you listen to some of your thoughts of, specifically when I've done research on you talking about owning the supply chain, owning the data, turning that company into not only what you do, but like technology company. So talk a little bit about the expansion of the brand, because I know you guys people know you as Try Snow, the teeth whitening, but there's much more behind that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, Jeff Bezos, and I'm in no way trying to compare myself to him. He's an incredible visionary and has built something that I can't even fathom. But they started with books, but really he named it Amazon because he knew that, like the Amazon River, it would give access and life to a lot of industries. But he needed something that made sense. And if you look at catalogization and the availability and access to inventory in a seemingly infinite world like books, bookstore can only carry so many titles. And he realized the internet kind of shattered that. And so just like Google said, we want to index the entire internet. They started with this huge idea. It says, we're going to start with blank. Elon Musk is, I want to fly to Mars. I want to, own all the energy on this planet, and I want to make it better for everybody. But I've got to sell some sexy cars in the meantime. Right. And so for me, it's like, when we look at our brand, we say, how can we elevate the aesthetic standard and the quality standards for personal care and oral care, and starting with teeth whitening, because that's an area we felt like we could really innovate upon. We could really create something 10 times better. It's kind of like Peter Thiel, who's been a virtual mentor of mine, and I had the opportunity to meet him when I was a semifinalist in his program where he pays you $100,000 to drop out of school.
Yeah.
So I
applied. It was like before his 0 to 1 book or whatever. Yeah.
And so I've been a huge Peter Thiel fan. The way he thinks about ideas and being a magnitude better than your competition. And then I'm a huge fan of Blue Ocean Strategy and all that. So thinking through that, I said, okay, now we've got our anti-aging lip care line. So we're in the mouth, right around the mouth. Soon we'll be a little bit around the face. But thinking through how can we really reimagine the entire oral care aisle. But in addition to that, what else complements our brand? So expanding into taking our design focus, our technology background. I studied computer information systems in school. We have one of the best engineering teams, I believe, on the planet. We create real, true technology that looks really good, that is super simple to use in a market that grows with population. So like for us, it's toothpaste, mouthwash. We launched our floss. People are in love with our activated charcoal floss. They love our anti-aging lip scrub, our anti-aging lip balm. They use it all day. And so we're like, okay, what else can we do that's not like foot, like socks. We're not going to sell socks, but what is like right there in that area that allows Snow to continue to connect to customers and give them a product that is 10 times better. And so that's what we're thinking about now is what are those expansion categories? And then what is the prioritization level to it? What do our customers want and need? And what do we think they'll appreciate? Because that a lot of times is a different question altogether. What does the market we think need? Where's the gap? And then how do we combine that with our current stage of where we're at? I'd love to have 500 products right now. That's not the case. I think at $1 billion in revenue, we may have, 15 products. It's not one of those things that, Casper mattress and my buddies at Tufted Needle, they sold one product, one mattress. Of course, you had the queen, the twin, and the king, but it was one type of mattress. That's it. And they did that until they were well over $100 million in revenue before they came out with the pillow. Even though everyone was like, come out the pillow, come out with this. It's the next best affordable.
They stayed focused for a long time.
And building that market is key.
Yeah. Talk about the data. I thought, the conversation I've heard you've talked about the technology and even the insurance piece. Talk about your thoughts on that, because I thought that was interesting on where you're going, where the puck's going, not where it is. Well,
I'll take a step back and we were the first company to innovate on connecting our patented LED technology to the phone, and then people thought that was a great idea. So naturally, we started to pick up competitors. And before we were too focused on ourselves, you focus on competitors. You can focus on competitors all day long. We focus on our customers, and I focus on our team. But we were too small. We didn't have the resources at the time to fight everybody and take people down. I said, all we can do is run faster and innovate faster. And anyone copying us is always going to be at least 2 steps behind. I played chess growing up. Chess is still one of my favorite games. And you've got to be 4, 5, 6 steps ahead. You got to think of as many probabilities as you can. Mm-hmm. So for me, I thought about how can we really build a moat? Warren Buffett talks about building the moat all the time. And I said, well, if you look at the dental data, primary dental data, generally dentists are the holders of that data, but because of HIPAA laws and all that, it's hard for them to share that with research companies and insurance companies, etc. So I said, well, what if we could help raise the awareness of oral hygiene to the 180 countries we ship to right now, but also collect data that wasn't just for the sake of making money, but actually to understand oral hygiene habits around the world. And, they just came out with a study, I think Time published a study around connecting it to Alzheimer's, periodontal disease, dental disease.
Oh, it's definitely linked to heart disease. I mean, there's a lot of links to poor dental health to a lot of different major issues that people don't realize.
Well, we thought, there are established organizations like the insurance world, like the pharmaceutical world, that the biggest study on cancer came out connecting dental disease to 34% increased risk in cancer. And we said, look, we can't do everything ourselves, but who are partners that while we're doing good, we can do good, and like how can we support the world with one thing that we're good at, which is data. And my whole world the last 12 years has been around data. So as people use our products, we're collecting hundreds of points of data. And then thinking through how can we utilize this data to potentially help in any way come out with a treatment that is successful for Alzheimer's. My grandmother passed away from Alzheimer's.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Cancer, and like how can we contribute to society as a whole and make it part of our legacy? And we realize data is something that we're really, really good at. We have a massive head start. And so that's something that we're starting to incorporate more and more as we continue to sell product.
Yeah, the founders I talked to, like the Quest Nutrition, Tom Billy was talking when I interviewed him about they weren't trying to sell bars necessarily. He was trying to help metabolic disease. They kind of transitioned to doing research, and that sounds like that's the direction, the things that you guys are thinking about and doing. Talk about, there were 3 things that we talked a little about before, which was the online to offline, the product line, and the $0. Talked about the online to offline components. You've been doing this marketing thing a long time. You're young. You've been doing it a long time. Talk about those thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is in our space, we dominate, at least in the U.S., we dominate the online ecosystem definitely for teeth whitening and eventually our other products. But, we look at it and say, where are people buying oral care right now? They run out of toothpaste, they see it at the store, and they throw it in their basket, next to the toilet paper. It's a need to have, not a want to have. And so we've created a giftable category inside of a really dormant space. And so we know that the majority of purchase volume is happening offline, and the overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
So for us, we're picking select retailers. We haven't gone to a trade show. We don't do any outbound for retail, but the inbound retail has been really interesting. We're on our fourth test with the Nordstrom property, and looking at select premium retail. I'm going on TV starting next month with the QVC group at HSN.
Nice.
And so getting in front of more people through TV, getting in front of them where they shop already, and realizing that, you look at Target's a great example. They brought Casper in, they brought Harry's in. And so we're looking at how can we get in front of our customers? Because the reason why we're not 10 times our size right now, I believe, the first thing people think is, does it work? The second thing is, does it work for me, et cetera? And the second is around price. But if they can touch and feel the product and they can see it, I buy stuff all the time that I don't even look up the reviews for. It's just there in the store, and I just throw it in my cart. I'm like, cool, I need that, I want that. So we want to be there, and we also believe that we can be really, really good channel partners for our retailers. We're never going to lose our direct-to-consumer. We're never going to have more than 50% of our sales come from retail, but it presents, a multi-billion-dollar opportunity eventually for us to be in retail. And it also challenges us to become better and better online so that we can support and drive customers to our retail partners.
We're seeing a lot of that, right? I mean, you look at Warby Parker, they start with direct-to-consumer and then they branch into retail, right? And so what are some of the retail channels you think are ideal for you? If someone's listening, what should you be in, or what you're exploring?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at pop-up stores, in select cities so that we can talk to our customers, meet our customers, and get in front of potential customers and show them our product. We're very proud of what we built, and with our, we've got our upcoming toothpaste, that's being made right now, and we want people to taste test it. We want people to actually try it out. And, when we say trysnow.com, we want you to try Snow offline as well. And so we're looking at a kiosk model, pop-up shop model, and then we're starting to partner with big retailers and department stores so that customers can see the product. So we're looking at kind of an array of that. We started with med spas and dentists. So
that's what I was thinking. Like when you say Snow, try Snow, I'm thinking this should be like a dental franchise or something.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So dentists love selling our product because if you look at teeth whitening, they don't make a lot of money. Teeth whitening, whitening teeth. They use it as a lead generation or customer generation tool, and they do it because customers ask for it. Patients ask for it. But if you just want to whiten your teeth, it is cumbersome to have to go into a dental office. Also, it takes time away from the dentist, the hygienist. It's expensive. So we said, look, we can get the same results if you just put our product on your shelf. If a patient's like, hey, I want to whiten my teeth. Cool, you have two options. We have two options. You can take Snow home. Oh, I've seen that. I've seen so-and-so using that on social media. I've been wanting it. Does it really work, doctor? Yes, it works. Here it is. Or would you like us to do one of the traditional methods that's, maybe a little bit more expensive? So giving them the choice and putting a product that gets in front of 15 million people, putting it in their office, every single dentist and every med spa who carries a product is sold out. And they don't do any marketing around it. They just put it on their shelf. We do all the marketing. So it's important because it breaks down the does it work kind of objection,
Mm-hmm. Totally. And so we talked about the product line, the $0 piece.
Yeah. You're talking about from the product?
Yeah, from you, the decision not to take outside investment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I did it consciously. I think that I've just been so used to. I've helped a lot of companies raise a lot of money. I've even done multiple investments myself as an angel investor. So I'm not like. And one thing I did learn from Mort is OPM and OPN and OP everything. Other people's network, other people's money. When
OPP?
no. Other people's everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything. And that's the irony of capitalism and stuff, is that you have to help other people's you have to align your self-interest. And what we looked at is, initially, if we went out to raise money, they see a teeth whitening company and it's like, that's great, you got a teeth whitening product, cool. I wanted to self-fund this as long as possible, and I still am. And we still haven't made the full-on decision to necessarily raise money. We're looking at maybe a friends and family, and then maybe a Series A. But when I look at the international expansion abilities and the huge head start we have in the U.S., I say, okay, the main threat we have in our space is someone raising a lot of money out the gate and trying to catch up to us, and that's a threat that is real. It also, as we look at retail, if we do a Costco deal or we do a Target deal and they both put in $5 million purchase orders, I've got to take away from my online support and support that. And I don't want to lose that leverage. So now I look at, okay, how can I utilize other people's money who see the vision of what we're building? We're so much further than we were even a year ago. They start to see that and say, holy crap, this company could IPO for billions of dollars. Smile Direct Club IPOing, they're worth $4 billion right now. They're going to IPO probably at $8 billion valuation. They're the first company of our kind to do that. And so the VCs and everybody around them are like, we missed out on Smile Direct Club. Who else is out there? Well, there are very few websites or brands that get in front of more people than us and online. And in the influencer world, it's definitely not in our space. We dominate that. And so they're like, okay, that's where we want to be. And then what are you going to use the money on? And it's like, to fund this Costco purchase order and to fund this Target purchase order. And we need some more inventory and I need a couple more staff. They're like, oh, that's low risk. Versus I need the money to build the product or to do this. Again, they'll do it. Go Silicon Valley. That's what it's all about. But once they see our vision a lot more now, and it starts to make a lot more sense that it's cheaper for me to raise $50 million right now than it was a year ago. And what could I do with $50 million? I can put us in every store, internationally that makes sense in the next 3 years. And I can do Super Bowl commercial, and I can bring on bigger celebrities. I can attract, the other thing too, press writes about companies generally that have raised money. And A players who are coming from big corporations want to know that you're not going anywhere. And no matter how much they believe in me, I'm not going anywhere. This business isn't going anywhere until you say, look, we've got $25 million we just raised. From big
they like to see that safety backing.
It's true. It is what it is, and I don't blame them.
So one thing that's really interesting, I mentioned the front of the interview, is the way you approach and structure celebrity partnerships. So I don't know which one would be most interesting to talk about. I know you have Chuck Liddell, Floyd Mayweather, Rob Gronkowski, and more. Which would be interesting to talk about a little bit about how you actually approach and structure those?
Well, I mean, it's really an art, right? It's like there's certain science to it in terms of, who matches the audience and all that. And we went after men initially because we wanted to kind of break the mold around only women, care about their smile, whiten their teeth and all that. And so if you look at, my partners, Chuck Liddell and Rob Gronkowski, they both used mouthpieces. Chuck's semi-retired or retired, and I guess Rob is now retired. But they're using mouthpieces to tackle people, to beat people up, and all that stuff. And it's like, oh wait, these are manly men who use mouthpieces. The same thing. This just happens to whiten teeth. So anyway, the way we look at that is, if it's a big celebrity, someone that we see we could be with for 10 years. One, we want them to use the product or already be a customer. A lot of our celebrity partners, they were customers first. They paid full price for the product. They used the product, and then they approach us. And so having a really good product you can stand by is key. I think our positioning helps. We spend a lot of money on product development and packaging and all this. So it makes sense that a celebrity would use our product. So those are some of the things under the tip of the iceberg. But ultimately, it's like approaching the people who we do approach. We think about what type of response do they elicit from their audience? Do they make people smile? Are they funny? Are they aspirational? So if they match those things, then it's like, how can we work with someone like that? And we really run the gamut. I mean, you've got Rob Gronkowski, who's a football player, a dude's dude, and then you've got like Demi Lee, who's Miss Universe, on the other side, who's the softest, nicest, smart. You can run the gamut. And what we're really showing is that everybody wants a nice smile, and we can do that. Where generally, if you're just like an underwear brand for women, like Victoria's Secret or some lingerie, you're not gonna have guys up there. It's like there's a certain thing. For us, we want to show that we're in a space where 7 billion people have teeth, and everybody values confidence and a nice smile. And so the way we structure them is it can be a mix of things, like equity being at the highest level, but licensing, royalty revenue, cash, a mix of all those, and really getting the celebrity excited about what we're doing. And if they're not excited, like if they're certainly not getting equity, and maybe they're not getting royalty or licensing stuff, if they don't see at least a piece of what we see. If they just see us as a money grab, at the agent or the manager's just like, nice, these guys are doing really well, let's charge them a lot of money. If that's the case, there are too many celebrities for me to work with. I want to work with the ones who really use the product and really see the vision.
Yeah. One thing that you do is you make sure everyone's taken care of in the deal. I love your philosophy on that. Talk about what that means.
Well, the thing is like, they call me sometimes, I've been called and I thought it was hilarious the first time I got called, like the elephant hunter, like awkward elephants in the room. Like, I come in and I'm just like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. And it's like, when I started working in Hollywood with these agents and in New York, I would come in and I would be like, because I didn't know the space. Like I just came in and I'm just like, how do you make money? And, like just straight up, like, how do you make money? And they were like, at first I kind of laugh and be like, whoa, like that's really direct. But then after a while, they started to appreciate it because they realized why I was asking.
You come from a different place, yeah.
I'm an outsider. I'm just like, hey, I don't know any of this stuff. You know it way better than me. How do you make money? How does he make money? And I'm like, literally at the table, I'm like, how do you make money? How do you make money? What's a success for you? What's a success for you? What would make you say no to this deal? What might make you say yes? Just coming straight up and then saying, okay, you make X percent of what we're going to pay. You get paid an hourly because you're the legal, you're the attorney. Well, let's have you do the work. How can I help you? Maybe you can help us with other deals and other contracts. And then the agent is like, who's in your portfolio? Who else might make sense? How can we guarantee minimums on the licensing and royalty? Is there a way that you can get involved because you're doing a lot of work? So like even if at the highest level, again, getting a super manager, involved on the equity level is something that is interesting as well, because that person is really working for us day in and day out on the celebrity. We're not talking to the celebrity every single day. I text a few of them. They're friends of mine now, but it's the agent, the management team that is working on it. It's the lawyers, the accountants. How do I get them involved? If they want to be, how do I get them involved in what we're doing? And then all of a sudden, it's easier for them to pick up the call when I call in, and they're a lot happier to pick up the call.
Yeah. It's a motivation thing. You think about it is some of these people, I mean, do they really need more money or want more money? So you're kind of getting at the core of what else would be beneficial to them. Right.
I mean, it's trying to figure out, it's always about aligning self-interest. And my belief is that intuitively everybody's selfish, inherently, I would say. And that's okay. It's totally okay. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's simply like, okay, if I couldn't provide value to your audience, and if I felt like, you didn't have authority and that this interview would never get published or something like that, it's just aligning self-interest at the very core level. Even with employees and team members, some of my team members value recognition more than others. Everybody values it. Some value recognition and having a title more than others. Some want, they have an expensive lifestyle. They're planning for something. They want to make money. My sales guys, they want that opportunity. How do I align what they want with what I want in a win-win situation? Not a devious way of putting a mask over it, but purely, just simply, when I sit down and do planning for the team, team member by team member, it's like, okay, what would be a success for you? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And how can I help you get there? And it through the vehicle of Snow. And the result is you get your goal, and Snow hopefully becomes a more powerful brand as a process of that, whether you stay with us 50 years or not. Luckily, I've never had to fire anybody, in 3 years. And we're really careful with who we bring on, but I think that it attracts a certain type of person who's tired of working at an organization where they might be making 150,000 a year or 100,000 a year, but they'll take a pay cut and even move to Arizona because they see what we're building and they want to be a part of that. And they also hopefully see a selfless leader who's gone all in, who's devoted his life to this, and they feel comfortable and safe that they're going to be able to build in an environment where they're supported, they're trusted, and is going to be around for a long time.
Yeah. Josh, I always ask at the end, first of all, thank you. This has been fantastic. I love hearing what you're building, what you're doing, and your thoughts along the way. I always ask at the end, since it's Inspired Insider, what's been a low moment? And on the flip side, what's been a really proud moment for you? And then at the end, we could show this system that you have covered up in a bag. But what's been a low moment for you that you had to push through?
Well, I mean, honestly, if I look at the last 10 years, obviously I had that period of realizing it wasn't the pursuit to happiness, but the pursuit is happiness for me. I have to have a vehicle. As an entrepreneur, you've got to keep moving. And not everybody's wired the same way, but I just realized that was for me. And then learning to ask for help and learning how to, I've always been pretty good at delegating, but I'm still working on it, like becoming better and better at, hiring great people and supporting them and being the best leader that you can be, not having an ego. And so some of the low points in my life have come from, not asking for help and letting something get to a point where then I'm embarrassed to ask for help because I didn't help early on.
Right.
And then I feel alone in those times because when you are the entrepreneur, there are certain things, if something's got to be done or something's broken, yes, I have an amazing team. They're all over it. And generally things don't break. But when they do, I've got to stay up till 4 a.m. or not sleep tonight. Ultimately, I am the leader of the ship. I've got to do it. And if something happens, my team makes a mistake, I've got to step up and I've got to take responsibility for that mistake because I am the leader of this team. And I am going to protect my team to the day I die. And so stepping up in those moments, but realizing I should have asked for help earlier. I should have involved people earlier. That has gotten me into trouble for sure.
Why do you think people hesitate in asking for help?
I mean, why do I hesitate from it? I think, and this might match, the general consensus, but I'm used to. When I started, I did everything myself. I built a website, I designed it, I marketed it, I did everything myself, and you learn this self-sufficiency. And it becomes
a habit almost.
It becomes a habit. I mean, I would call it a habit. It's a bad habit. And the thing that kind of shattered it for me is that if I want to build $1 billion brand, I can't do it alone. I couldn't even build. We're a $100 million brand. I certainly could not have built that alone either. I could build. I think because I've done it. I can build $1 to $10 million brands left and right over and over again. But to build something big, you have to ask for help and realizing that what do I want more? Do I want to feel like weak or embarrassed? I don't feel weak when I ask for help. I feel empowered actually. But I think that a lot of it was learning that bad habit of self-sufficiency. I can do it myself, and not even saying like I don't trust people. I trust everybody. I'm a macro manager. I'm not a micromanager. But I think also shielding my team from certain things, being like, this is really difficult. I don't want to bog down my team member on this stuff. I'll just figure it out. I'll figure it out. That kind of, leadership of saying like, you know what, I don't want to give this to him. It's, he's probably not going to like it, or it's probably going to piss him off. I'll absorb it. But instead, the team, if you hire good people, they want to learn that with you. They want to be right next to you. It's a learning opportunity. So when the site breaks, I don't go in and say, what the heck's going on? The site's broken. I'm like, this is amazing that the site's broken. And my team's like, what? Like, we're not, and sales aren't coming in. The checkout doesn't work. I'm like, I understand that, guys. But look, this is one day in a 50-year plan. And I said, things are going to happen like this. The importance is that we learn from them and think about what we're going to learn today as we fix this together. We're all here together on the same team. We're going to fix this. We're going to bounce right back. And we're going to have a moat now because the next guy's got to figure this stuff out. And it's only going to make us stronger. And teaching the team about experimenting, not being afraid to fail, and being in an environment where they're not at a risk of losing their job. Because I've had days where, agencies and not my team's pretty good, but there have been times where my team has made a misstep. I make missteps all the time. My agencies, misspend $40,000 in a day with no return because everything's broken or whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, yes, you want to be as careful as you can, but things are going to happen. Take it as a learning experience. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, I'm not getting fired. I better learn this shit. I can't do it again.
Right.
But the leader stepped in and held my hand, and we together figured it out, versus saying, you better figure that out right now. Like, it's like, I got you. Let me see. That's why I learned how to code. I learned Shopify's liquid code platform. I learned Photoshop. I'm not the best at it. That's why I hire the best people. But I know enough that I can talk and hopefully earn the respect to people I'm recruiting when they're like, oh, you're just a marketing guy. You don't understand stuff. I might not be able to code it. I might not be able to make it. But I understand it enough to understand how hard it might be. Like, my designers have told me multiple times, like, Josh, it's such a relief working with you, because I used to be thrown like, I need this banner done by tomorrow. I need this webpage done by tomorrow. And design is a process.
You understand what it takes.
And that's huge. Empathy is massive as a quality for a leader.
Thanks for sharing that. I totally resonate with that, Josh. I mean, I think, asking for help, as you say that, it's so important. And I think for me, it comes into, sometimes I don't even know I should be asking for help. Like you said, you're just used to doing it yourself. And so that's what you do. And then you don't even realize you should be asking. Right? And so I totally resonate with that. So thanks for highlighting that. On the flip side, some of the proud moments. And then we'll show what is in the bag.
Let the cat out the bag. Proud moments. I'm proud every day. You know what? I read the hundreds of reviews that come in from our customers and how they're able to smile. I read them and you read them and they say, for the first time in my life, I'm proud to smile. I'm 55 years old, and for the last 30 years, when I laugh, I hide my smile, or in photos, I wouldn't smile.
Powerful.
And for the first time, I'm actually getting complimented at Starbucks because of my smile, and they feel more confident. And then I would say when people really desire the products we build and create, even here, like when I'm in town in Arizona, which is where I live, and when I travel all over the world, people know Snow, and they're like, I seen the ads, or isn't that the one that so-and-so uses, or just that brand recognition is kind of cool. It's not about me being famous. I like being the man behind the brand. I like being part of the team. But for them saying, like, I've been wanting that product. Or from influencers who are just like, yo, I'm obsessed with your brand, and I have a kit, like, in exchange, I'll post on my 800,000 following. And they're like, and they value the product that costs $150 they could buy, or $300, but they value it at $10,000, or they value it at $5,000. Like that. That's really nice.
They want to be part of the movement, it seems.
They want to be part of the movement, and we're in the business of confidence. So instilling confidence, people, helping them smile, and then retailers coming and saying amazing. And I think for me has been the love and support, which I'm infinitely grateful for. And it's growing like crazy from the entrepreneurship community all over the world. The more podcasts I'm doing, things like that, the feedback I get from people, that's something that really keeps me going as an entrepreneur, is like, wait, people are seeing this, direct response going to brand, going to offline, and taking on $1 billion market and all this stuff and winning. And like, I realize people want to see the little guy win. And we're the little guy, and seeing the love and support that pours out from the entrepreneurship community, from our affiliates. Our top affiliate, makes 6 figures a month in commissions selling Snow. People want to sell our products. They want to literally stop all their campaigns, stop everything they're doing, and go all in with me. And now, I've been getting hit up by nonstop by VCs and investment firms, etc. They're seeing what we're doing. And just like kind of that recognition of like, because I see 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead, that's my job. But when you start to see customers see where it's going and asking for more, like, come out with toothpaste, please, I'll buy every toothpaste you have. And I get messages all day from entrepreneurship community.
It's tough to push that off, right?
It is. Yeah. It is. So those are proud moments every day. Overall, I'm just proud that we just keep pushing forward and we're not going to stop. I'm proud of that.
Josh, I have to say, from the subtlety, what I love from the direct response standpoint is what you guys focus in on, which is the result. And I think it's subtle when you talk, but you talk about confidence. You don't talk about teeth whitening, really. You talk about the result and you're so honed in on the customer and what their result is going to be. And those are the things you talk about, right, with confidence, everything. So I just want to point that out for people, how you guys focus on the results, not the actual features and features piece, but the results that the end customer gets. So thank you for sharing that. And let's show us what you got.
Yeah, so I'm excited to show. First, I'm going to show you what we currently have. So we have about 500,000 customers who use this product here. This is newer packaging, but this is the one that plugs right into your phone, your Android tablet, etc. And this is our all-in-one bundle kit here that comes in our travel bag. And we've got customers. I thought it was hilarious. Customers are reselling the travel bag we give with the order on eBay and Etsy and all that. This is our maximum strength serum in here. So this is what currently comes in, and we like to thank every single one of our customers. They are investors. People say you didn't raise any outside capital. Like we did from our customers, and that's the best investor to have is a customer who's paying real money. 500,000 people who said I'm going to give this a shot, and we have less than a 1%. Return rate, even though we give a results guarantee, a 5-year warranty. We really stand by our products. But this one I'm excited for because we got hit up by GQ Magazine and Vice News Network, and they do a show with the rapper 2 Chainz, and they said, we love your brand. We would love to feature you on the show. So I went out to Vegas and filmed, and I said, well, why don't we feature this product? And so this here is Swarovski crystal.
I'm blinded. No.
Edition, right? And so this is our Swarovski crystal edition. It opens up just like this, and this you can imagine sitting on a marble vanity, 24/7. We wanted something that really stood out. This is a $10,000 teeth whitening kit. Every crystal's hand placed. This is gold. It's got the red kind of styling up top, and then you open it up and you've got the mouthpiece here, and this is this mouthpiece was very difficult for us to create, and we've got one patent I'm really excited about that we worked really hard on is around wirelessly charging mouthpieces. So it wirelessly charges inside of the dock. When you close it, it actually goes through a self-sanitization process where it kills 99% of the bacteria using ultraviolet. And then on here, I don't know if this one's charged. There we go. So shake to wake technology. So it's really like all the technology in here. It automatically detects the shades of each quadrant of your smile and adapts. It gets smarter the more you use it. It's powered by an app. And the app, you can turn it on, off. You can choose the white strength. Urine snowflakes every time you use the product, which you can cash in. And then we added on this one, we added red light therapy. So the red light therapy is great for stimulating blood flow. Gingivitis germs help to prevent against the germs there. We put some crystals around the edge, so when you have it in your mouth, you got the gold. And then when you're ready to stop, you just do that, or you can power all through the app. So we wanted it so that and we're gonna have a lot of fun with you can imagine the ads of people just shaking to turn it on, and in their mouth, boom. And our serum inside of here is actually photocatalytic, which means it actually responds to the nanometric range that we use inside of this. So our proprietary serum is actually formulated to be accelerated by our technology. And that was very important for us because we didn't want to just put a light out because everybody's putting a light out. Like we wanted something that really, really worked. And my engineers, they've been engineering for 30, 40 years. They've worked with some big companies, and this is part of their life passion as well. They will not, they're funny. I send them all the competitor products and they break them all down and they're like, this is crap. And then this. And I said, and they have this passion, and they've never sold beauty products in their life. And I said, guys, I'll show you how to sell beauty products together. I just want something that you're proud of, that works. We were at CES, not with this diamond edition, but the regular edition of this, by the way, you get the exact same serum. The formula is the same. The mouthpiece, the app, everything's the exact same except the gold and Swarovski. It's $299, and we just introduced a payment plan where you can take it home for $25, and it's yours. So, for less than the cost of a lot of other products out there, you're taking home the world's most advanced teeth whitening system. So anyway, I want to show this off.
It's awesome.
I've seen it.
Love it.
The show will be coming out soon.
Check it out. TrySnow.com. Where else should we point people, Josh?
I'm on Instagram, Josh Snow, Josh Snow. I post a lot on Instagram. I'm starting to do a lot more on LinkedIn. Facebook, you can always add me on there. Wherever Facebook has a limit of 5,000 friends, so I'm careful with that. But feel free to reach out. You have, whatever it is that comes across your mind during this interview. I read every message I get. Sometimes it takes a week or two, but I try to get back to everybody because without the support of our customers and the support of our community, we would not be where we're at today.
Thank you. First, want to thank you. Go to trysnow.com. Josh, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other